Hello and welcome. This is Kasia Richter, a Wellbeing Strategist. In this video, I would like to share with you few science-based tips and methods for staying happy. Uh, Happiness is something, your personal happiness, your personal well-being is something that you cannot delegate. As we know, successful way of running a business, it's all about delegation. It's all about creating this space where you have room to analyze things, to reflect on yourself, on your business, on the direction of your company, of your career. And in order to have that mental space, you delegate things, right? I talk about delegation in my book, Burnout Recovery Guide for Female Entrepreneurs. And I've been just going through the book again today before going live to discuss these things with you. And the thing that occurred to me was like, yes, your personal well-being is something that you cannot delegate. It is always your own responsibility. So how do we go about it? Number one, you have to really sit down and reflect and answer yourself this very simple question. What does happiness look like for me? Actually, this morning I was sitting on my yoga mat and I was listening to EFT tapping script on happiness. And yes, and this thing was mentioned, and it's so simple and so profound. How does happiness look like? So for everyone, it will be different, right? It may be being healthy and being grateful for being healthy. It might be having financial security. It might be having certain achievements, maybe publishing a book, maybe having a great circle of friends, maybe having amazing social life, maybe having amazing property portfolio, whatever. For everyone, it will be something different. So first of all, in order to be really happy with yourself, you have to sit maybe on a yoga mat, maybe go for a walk, maybe whatever it takes for you, and answer this one simple question. How does happiness feel? Does it feel like having a lot of room to breathe, like, taking a deep breath and expanding your chest? Or does it look like going to the office every day and driving a really posh car, or maybe being able to go to a beautiful resort? So how does it feel like? Is it about freedom? Is it about power? What values are aligned personally for you when it comes to happiness? So to find the happiness, you have to answer this question. You have to find your own definition to start with, right? And now moving on to the research, right? So the research says that the things that make you happy is pursuing meaningful work. What does it mean? Meaningful, it has to be meaningful for you. It has to be aligned with your values. Um, uh, you will not be happy uh, if you will be pursuing certain career because somebody else wants that for you, or maybe you're trying to please, somebody, maybe your parents, maybe your partner, maybe your friends, maybe you're competing with your sister or brother, and you are entering certain field which is not truly yours. So do remember that your own values are your guideline, are your post sign of where you should be going with your happiness, right? So pursuing meaningful work. So again, sit down and think, what are the values? Is it the freedom? Is it health? Is it family? What type of career will be really supporting those values for you? If you love freedom, like myself, maybe you will choose the career that will give you a lot of opportunity to travel, right? Or to have a control over your work schedule, right? That's why a lot of people become entrepreneurs, for example, and maybe you are one of them. So think about it, whether this is something that you really, really want. And another thing is, as we evolve in time, our values also can change, and maybe you will just sit down and see like, wow, I'm running this business, or I'm doing this job, and this was something that was aligned with my values 10 years ago, and I never sat down and I never realigned it. So be mindful of that. You also have to align yourself, what is currently important to you. Um, Not something that was there important for you years ago, right? Um, Talking about, I'm just going to mention here one case study, in case you're interested in the research part of things. So, Harvard Business Review found that employees who felt that their work was meaningful were 3 times more likely to stay with their company, uh, and reported 1.7 times more job satisfaction. Okay, so that is relatively old study from 1977. People's relation to their work, and was published in Journal of Research in Personality. Right, I'm sure there is a lot of other research that would support this idea. There's another one from Sichuan University that mentioned, and here we're going to the next point. Another thing that is important for our well-being, our happiness, is actually our social life. And Sichuan University made the research and found out that those who socialize, who have active social lives, they live basically longer than those people who do not. And there's a lot of evidence for that. What else I have here? Dinner and Seligman, very happy people. Psychology science, they basically came out with the results saying that strong social connections are the predictor of happiness and well-being, right? If you think about it, it's a no-brainer. People are social creatures. We are meant to be living in an environment and being surrounded with other people. And we actually need other people to learn, to interact, to fully experience who we are as human beings, right? So your social life is very important. Maybe you are a single mother and or social or single entrepreneur, and you might feel like, oh my God, I'm on my own. That's why being part of group, of a community, of your tribe is so important. Finding people that you will feel supported and safe to open up, because we all go through different phases, and the more people we have that will allow us to have our back, to give us an advice, just to listen to us, to be there, the more basically resources we have. This is our resource. You often ask, like, what is well-being? What is well-being? Well-being is basically having enough resources, building conscious resources, and having the community, having friends, having social network, having people that you trust, the right type of people. This is a massive resource. Okay, so this is something that will be supporting your well-being and allowing you to develop and to fully experience this feeling of happiness. Okay, next thing. As we know, and there is a multiple research talking about it, and I'm sure you've heard about it, is the factor that is making us experience the feelings of happiness is actually gratitude. It's so simple. It's so simple. And as a psychologist, as a well-being strategist, I cannot stress it enough. I recommend it to my clients. I recommend it to you, to myself, to everyone. To whenever you are, especially going through a difficult time, when you're feeling overwhelmed, just do any form of gratitude practice, right? You might be doing some journaling, you might be visualizing like the shower of gratitude, like just like you're taking a shower every morning, you might be actually in the shower, and just imagine like, all these things that you have in your life that you're surrounded by, you're showered by. It can be your health, it can be your family, it can be your work, it can be just basically the most basic things, that you have a roof on top of your head, that you have a food in the fridge, and just very simple, going back to basics, right? The thing that you have a clean air, the thing that you have a fresh air. Only when you lose things, you start appreciating it. Just like I've been living for many years in the Middle East, and in the Middle East, and in the summer months especially, there's no fresh air. There's just like, you open the window and it's like an oven, as if you've opened an oven. So in order to go for a walk, sometimes you wake up at 5 a.m. to have like a little bit cooler air. We often think like, okay, in Europe, it's just the weather is cold and there's no sun. Yes, okay, but at least we have a fresh air. So this is something to be grateful for. And if you take a little bit more conscious effort, you will always find things to be grateful for. Okay. Um, Next point in finding your personal happiness and achieving great well-being and being the happy CEO of your own life, is finding balance. So multiple studies are talking about work-life balance as a way of promoting happiness and well-being. And how do we actually achieve that? It is all about boundaries, right? It is all about boundaries, and boundaries are very much closely tied with our ability to communicate our needs. Sometimes we might have needs that are not met, and first of all, we don't have this awareness that those needs, like very basic needs of being seen, heard, loved, noticed, if they are not met, and with majority of us this is the case, and we are just unaware of that. We're just adults walking around in a corporate environment, in a business world, with so many unmet needs. And you will only start noticing these things when you start working on yourself, that you have certain needs, like why are you so pushed to achieve so much, that you have to perform, you have to be the best, you have to have power, you have to have money. Very often it is not for yourself, it is just so that you will not feel you're a loser. You will just feel that you have to win, because you have to prove it to yourself. That's how people become perfectionists, that they have to be overachieving, because they have unmet very, very basic needs. And then the tendency to overachieve, as we know, especially those who read it in my burnout recovery guide. I also talk about it. That the compulsion to prove yourself leads to perfectionism, and that leads to burnout. Yeah, so we know that. So finding this work-life balance is super, super crucial. And how do we do that? Again, so it is all about focused energy, just like with the laser focus. In order to achieve our goals, we don't scatter our energy. We just put one intention for the day, one main goal for the day, one most important thing to achieve, during the day. If it is something that is supposed to make us feel better, you choose, right? You make, for example, you're having, bad day. You just, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. It's absolutely normal. It's absolutely human to feel this way. So practicing self-compassion. If you go to my website, for those who didn't visit, wellbeingstrategist.com, you will find in the section of free resources, self-compassion meditation. Self-compassion meditation. It takes around 10 minutes. And if it's important for you to have the great work-life balance, to feel good, to feel happy, you will find 10 minutes to practice self-compassion meditation. You just listen, and your attention is being steered into um, acknowledging that you are a human being, you have a human needs, that you might be having a bad day, you might be feeling tired, you might be feeling overwhelmed, you might be feeling anxious, and it's normal. And this is all about being kind to yourself, not pushing all the time, and making yourself a priority. And this is how you do it. You just connect to the self-compassion meditation, for example, and you just find this little space of finding compassion to yourself, right? Saying like, okay, I acknowledge that I might be having, a more difficult time, that, I need more attention, that maybe now I have to focus on myself, on my health, on my personal needs. This is a great way of exercising work life balance. Okay, so to sum up, in this video, I have discussed science-based strategies for achieving well-being, for becoming a happy CEO of your own life. So, first of all, your personal happiness, just like your own life, uh, you are behind the steering wheel. You are in charge, and it is the direction of it cannot be delegated. You are in charge, and you always will be, and you have a free will, and you basically decide how it's going to be. So happiness is a choice. And I know maybe you've heard it before, and I really want you to reflect on it, and to find out, like, okay, you have choice, and are you choosing happiness? What are you choosing at this moment, at this hour? What are you choosing? Maybe you're feeling upset because things are not going your way. Okay, are you choosing to be upset or happy? Right? If you're choosing to be upset, it's fine. The question is, how is it serving you? Maybe it has a good side to it. Maybe it is important. So, once again, happiness is your choice, and you always have a choice. You're a person with a free will, and no matter what circumstances you are in, maybe you're in a toxic environment, maybe you're in a toxic relationship, maybe you're in an unsupportive environment, or a family, and that environment may make you feel that you don't have a choice. I have to work. I cannot stop. I cannot take time off. I cannot delegate. I cannot do that. Really? Is it really? Remember, you always have a choice. And whatever you're choosing, there must be a good reason for it. So ask yourself, why are you choosing this? So, establishing how happiness, my personal happiness, looks like for me. Is it having a full bank account? Is it having, a great sexy body? Is it having amazing relationship? Is it having, garden outside of your home? What does it look like, and why? Why is that important to you? Yeah. So going back to your own values, then next thing of becoming the happy CEO of your life is basically having the meaningful work that is tied to your values, and making sure you're up to date with your values. What is important for you today? Yeah. Um, Having strong social connections, so having nice supportive network is another asset and another source of happiness. Practicing gratitude is another one. And lastly, finding work-life balance, setting nice strong boundaries, communicating your needs. Okay, these are the most important things and takeaways um, that I wanted to share with you in this video. You're welcome to go to my website, wellbeingstrategist.com, free resources. There is a section there, free resources. And in free resources, you will find gratitude meditation. You will find morning yoga sequence, which takes only 9 minutes, opens up your heart and sets you ready for the day. If you're feeling unhappy, if you're feeling depressed, your body posture is slouching, you have to open up your body, open up your heart, because then you will approach the world in a very different way. You will find different meditations in that section. They're all for free. You can download them and use them. Use them in your everyday practice, because we know that practice, and the future is no problem. So it's all about practice, all about building yourself, the habits, because the habits become your personality. Yeah. So that's it from my side. Have a gorgeous rest of the day, and thank you for watching. Thank you for watching replay. If you have any questions, please message me below or send me an email. Thank you, Edward. Yes. Thank you for emphasizing the concepts of choice and free will. Yes, we always have a free choice. Yeah. Sometimes it is just the environment that is so clouded and maybe toxic and unsupportive that doesn't allow us to see that. That's why I'm sharing this message, that you always, always, always have a free will, have a choice. You're always choosing, and even how you feel is a choice. Yeah. And if you don't feel like it, think again, take a deep breath and see, what are you choosing? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and see you soon.